And to be honest with you, I don't believe that it was ever the case that God's plan was to bless Israel and everybody else is just kind of secondary. I don't think that that was God's plan at all. I think what God did is He called out Abraham, and through Abraham developed a nation of people whose purpose was to be a blessing to all nations. That God's plan has always been to be a blessing to everyone, to all nations. That there has never been one group of people that He liked better than everybody else. And I know He uses terms, you're all going to be able to say this, well, He says, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. But I'm going to tell you, if you take verses like that to extremes, you can really make mistakes. And so He doesn't, it's the same thing as saying, well, if you don't hate your wife and your mother and your children, then you can't love me. You've got to be a little bit careful about taking those kind of passages and interpreting them to an extreme. And when God says that He loves Israel, He's chosen them out for a particular cause and for a particular purpose, and that is to be a blessing to all nations and to be an example of what God wants to do for all people. And He uses Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and the people that come from them as an example of what God's plan is and what God does for all people as a whole. Rather than saying, well, let's just talk about 6 billion people in the world. God took one nation, one group of people, and He set them out as an example and said, I'm going to use them to point out what my intention is for everyone and how people respond to my plan for them.